Recording right here, and we're good to go. Hello Rockstars, Coach Borino. After a little break we took, it's nice to be back and do the coaching, teach you how to get more leads, help more clients, make more money. Everybody good? Looks like we are good. Let me just check, make sure we have audio. How are you guys? It's so good to be back. Good, we have audio. As you can see, my motorcycle ride was a success. I'm going to show you some pictures and one little video that I shot riding the bike. It was a lot of fun. But I think it's time to get back to business. The spring market is over. We are swinging into the summer. Hot time to pick up buyers, pick up sellers, pick up a lot of commissions. So that's what we're going to talk about. Whatever is on your mind, post it in the comments. I'm here to answer your questions. Borino is here to help his real estate rock stars to make sure you help people, you feel good, you're less stressed, have more time, and more importantly, make more money so you have the good lifestyle. All right, so anything goes, whatever is on your mind, whatever you need help with, I'm here to help. Yes? Now, let me see where we are. All right, everything is good. Hey, Todd, what's happening, my man? Nice to have you. All right, let me just see if I can show the comments. There. Oh, wait, let me do it this way. This will be a better way to do this. Whatever's on your mind, whatever you need help with. Here you go. I'm going to move it this way. And we can actually see what you guys saying, huh? How cool is that? Hey, Shan. Dave is here, Mr. Todd. Always good to have you, my good friend. All right. Easy rider. Yeah, I like that. And Cherie is with us as well. I'm going to move one more thing this way. Good. All right. So we should be able to see all the comments and see what you guys are saying. Very cool. All right. So now, ride was great. Might as well tell you. Might as well show you. These are just some of the pictures. I started in San Diego in California. I had my bike shipped down there. We connected with the rest of the friends up in Los Angeles. And from there, we took the Route 66 first through part of Nevada and Arizona. And then in Arizona, went down through the Apache National Forest, rode through New Mexico, went all the way to the border of New Mexico and Colorado. Then went back to Santa Fe and ended up in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time. My wife, Hannah, joined us for the last 4 days of the ride. And I tell you, there is nothing more liberating than being out there into the world. Exploring the country from a vintage of a motorcycle is not like flying or even a train or a car. It was absolutely spectacular. And I had a really, really good time. Everything was good. Nothing broke. Nobody fell down. We had no accidents, thank God. We had a great time. And we're already planning another one for September, so that's going to be a lot of fun. The reason I wanted to share this with you guys is because I want to encourage you, get out there, do what pleases you. Now, maybe riding a motorcycle like me, I bought this brand new bike that you see in the pictures. Maybe that's not your thing. This is my baby. That's my new Yamaha Star Venture. I bought pretty much for this trip, so I was ready for it. So I picked it up, and it was a pleasure to ride. Let me tell you, that thing, it's awesome. It's like a sofa on wheels. It's absolutely spectacular. It has tons of power. It's 1,850 cc, so it's a very powerful engine, but it's also very comfortable. It has all the tools and gadgets you need for long trips like that. I put on it a little under 3,000 miles on this trip. So we had a wonderful, wonderful time. But I wanted to share this with you, not to impress you how phenomenal and adventurous my life is. Yeah, I'm having a great time. And I'm living my life on my terms. But I wanted to share with you because maybe there is something, not maybe, I know there is something that inspires you, that calls you, that you want to do, whether it's take the family to Bahamas, fly to Bora Bora, go visit Machu Picchu, visit the pyramids, whatever it is. I set this as my goal. As a matter of fact, let me show you how it started. A while back, I got this as a gift from the kids, as a reminder to hold on to my dreams. And they're pretty good at it. They're sometimes even better than me. See this? It's made out of metal. It's this metal statue of a bike. And this not only represented a new bike that I wanted and I bought, but this represents the trips and the journeys I want to take. Some with my family, some by myself, some with Hannah, some without her. But things that please me, because when I am able to do a journey like this, when I am able to get out there and do something fun like this, It recharges me, it clears my head, it helps me refocus, it inspires me, it motivates me, and it pushes me to work hard, to help you, to do more stuff for you. It gives me the oomph to go forward, even on days when it sucks, even on days when it's hard, even when I don't feel like it. So I beg you, I encourage you, I want to inspire you. If nothing else, I want you to walk away today with at least one thing, one place, one thing that fires you up, that gets you excited. Whether it's an actual trip, an actual vacation like I just took, or something else that excites you so much you can't wait to get out of bed in the morning to take that one step and get closer. What we're going to talk about today is the mechanics, because most of it requires at least some money. It's not just about the money, obviously. But the trip I took would not be possible without cash, right? I bought a $30,000 motorcycle, and every day we stayed in pretty nice hotels, so all that adds up. And I'm sure what's on your mind is not free either. But here's the best part. The business we're in, real estate, is such a great opportunity to very quickly get clients, get leads, get listings, and make commissions rather quickly. Much faster than many of the brick and mortar or traditional businesses or other businesses where you need to invest a lot of time, have some cash, maybe have staff, maybe has inventory. You don't need any of that. The best thing about real estate is you can literally get out there today and pick up what I call high probability leads. And the reason I like them so much, and the reason I teach you so much about them, how to find them, how to approach them, how to convert them, is because it is the shortest way I know of to get you a client, get you somebody who needs your help, who wants your help, who is willing to work with you, and who's willing to pay you. And that window can be pretty short. I mean, think about it. Could you go on Craigslist this afternoon, pick up maybe 2 or 3 for sale by owners, and just have a little friendly chat with them? Statistically, the interview I did with FSBO, 70%, according to FSBO, of for sale by owners list with an agent. So if you talk to 3, at least 1, maybe 2, will end up listing with somebody. So you have an opportunity today to find somebody who wants your expertise, who needs your help. You can do the same with expired listings. You can do the same this weekend with an open house. I mean, there are many ways you can generate leads, but what I teach you is what are the fastest, least expensive, most efficient ways to do that. If you're running Facebook ads, that's fantastic. I love Facebook. We advertise on it all the time. There's only a couple of small problems with it. You cannot spend $5 a day on Facebook and generate a lot of revenue and build a solid business model around it. And many of the leads you're going to generate with these kind of systems like Facebook or search engine optimization or any of these will be long-term leads that will require a lot of nurturing, a lot of follow-up. And you still have no guarantee you're going to convert a motivated seller into a client. Where if you work with for sale by owners, you have a better odds. If you work with new expireds, you have a better odds. If you work with new expired or all expired listings, you have better odds. If you work with good leads who come to your open house, and if you get 20, 30 visitors, there should be 2 or 3 really good leads in there. If you work your sphere properly, if you use the system that I just put together, and if you're a member of my path, some of you already have it, the rest of you will get it as part of the sequence. This is a system you can only get as a member of my path coaching. Have a system. Now, that's not something you need me to help you for. You can do a lot of this on your own. It's just easier if you skip the mistakes and the time I had to invest to explore all the dead ends and get the system together of the things that actually work. My whole point is this. You can do this. It is doable. There are people out there, thousands of agents out there right now doing it, getting leads, listing properties, getting paid. There are clients in your town right now. There are sellers and buyers in your area right now who are sitting around the kitchen table debating where are they going to find an agent? How in the world are they going to go about selling a house? What do they have to do to move to that dream house in Florida, to that nice condo in Colorado, to be close to their kids in California, to get that small house because this big piece of property is just killing them? Right now, there are people looking for help. Your job as a high-status pro is to know how to find them, know how to connect with them, how to build trust and connection with them, know how to initiate the conversation and continue the conversation through all the channels of communication, whether it's personal visits, phone calls, texts, emails, all that good stuff that's at your disposal. Nurture them all the way to the point where they see you're there to help. You have their best interest in mind. And once they see that, you're going to eliminate all their competition because all your competition is gunning for the listing, trying to still convince them, using scripts, using the traditional selling methods. Nobody wants to be sold. We're in a day and age where we have so much information and so much resources at our fingertips that the good old-fashioned selling is out the window. It doesn't work anymore. And if you tried it, you probably agree, right? I tried it. I know I have. And it feels shitty. It feels shitty to be the one sending it out, and it feels shitty to be on the receiving end. So if you connect with them, if you use the high status approach we talk about here every week, and if you nurture that relationship to the point where they say, yes, we're ready, then you deliver a good listing presentation, you with expertise present the right pricing, you do a phenomenal service to people that no Zillow and no other system and no other technology can replace. These are tools we use, and they're fantastic if you use them right. But at the end, it's going to be in your hand as their expert, as their guide, as someone who knows not only what this information means, but what to do with it, who's going to guide them through this maze, through this process. That's pretty scary and complicated to most people because they're civilians. And you're going to hold their hand, walk them through it, and at the end, you will not only get paid, but you will be very much appreciated for what you've done to them. You must believe this is possible. You must first believe that it's out there. You must believe that there's plenty, and God knows there is. I mean, there'll be over 5 million homes sold this year, so you know there's business out there. So you need to develop these simple steps, these simple routines, these simple habits to know where to find the leads, how to connect with them, how to nurture the relationship, how to follow up with them, how to get appointments with them, how to convert them into clients, get paid. Rinse, repeat. That's the whole formula. Now you may be sitting there just saying, going, hey, Borino, you make it sound so easy. I'm not saying it's easy. By no means I'm saying this is easy. This is a hard business. But I tell you from personal experience, being broke is a lot harder. Working for the man is a lot harder. Sitting in the office is a lot harder. Having some dead-end fucking job where you're trading Monday through Friday for 2 days of the weekend so that you have some security of paycheck is a lot harder. And you're going to hit an income ceiling, whether you're the CEO of the company, vice president, senior executive, you're going to hit a ceiling. The beautiful thing about this business is once you figure out the systems and formulas, with or without my help, you will be able to architect not just the income, but the entire lifestyle the way you want it. And once you buy into that, once you really grasp that it's possible, sky's the limit. And then a little bike trip like I took, you're going to look at it and go, "Pah, chump change. Look what I've done." And some of you are already doing it, which I'm really inspired by. All right. So, thank you for all the welcome backs. I really appreciate it. Hey, Robin, what's going on? Rod is here with us. Ashley saying hello. Anthony, hey Borino, can you spend some time talking about dealing with FSBOs in a seller's market? They seem tougher in this market. Do you have any suggestions? Really good question. Let me just, why am I not? Oh, here it is. Anthony has a question. So let's talk about FSBOs. It is a seller's market, and they know, that's a really good question, by the way, Anthony. Thank you for bringing it up. They know properties are moving, homes are selling. So I'm going to give you a few things that will help you even in a hot seller's market where you feel like, well, fuck, everybody's selling. They really don't need me. Not so. Ain't necessarily so. Now with that, yes, you need to deploy certain techniques and strategies without being, manipulative or salesy or aggressive and closing. Don't need to do any of that. But there are certain things you must be aware of. So let's start there. My cappuccino is always present. Good stuff. So this is for you guys who are working for sell-by owners. If you're not, start right now. That's a given. It can be a phenomenal opportunity. Here is why. Even in a hot seller's market, not every property will sell. Here's what's going to happen. It's like a pie chart. Some will sell on their own, and that's fine. And some will even do it with your help. You will give them some advice and some tips, which should be part of your approach. That's okay. Be okay with that. Because ultimately, you're not going to get paid by the amount of prospecting you do. You're not going to get paid by the amount of hours you're going to put in. You are getting paid by the amount of contribution you send out to the marketplace. You are getting paid your pay is directly proportionate to the amount and the quality of the contribution. Whether it's to a sell-by owner who sells on their own, or a buyer who you advise, or a seller you list. It's the overall contribution you send out. The more people you help directly or indirectly, the more people you help whether they're your clients or not, the more genuine you are about your intention to be cool and helpful and not worrying about the paycheck alone, the better you're going to do. Does that make sense so far? So, if somebody sells on their own, you can't control it. You don't have direct control over it. On the contrary, it's just part of the process. It's part of the deal. But because you guys are high status agents, you know one thing and one thing that you're certain about. Let me just turn this on. Hold on just a second. I'm going to push this button right here. All right. There you go. So you already know. Plenty out there. You're coming from an abundance mindset, which is where you need to start. Because the moment you start with scarcity, there is not enough. They're going to sell on their own. I'm not going to get paid. I want. That's going to kill not just your mojo and your fun in the business, but it's going to send out a signal that will either attract the wrong people or repel those who may be potential client to you. So shifting the mindset to abundance mindset, there is plenty. There are plenty of people who need my help and who are willing to pay me is essential to it. So some will sell on their own. Some will never sell. They'll stay where they are. They will test the market. You had sellers like that, right? Don't worry about those either. Good communicator will detect very quickly what the problem there is. You already know that, right? Core driving emotion, their motivation. What problem will they serve by selling the house? If they don't have a problem, you don't have a seller. Don't worry about it. But just be careful. Especially for sell-by owners get attacked, and I'm using that word deliberately, attacked by a lot of either low status, needy agents, or very aggressive salespeople. And so develop this defense where they're hiding their true, genuine motivation because they know that if they reveal it, they will be manipulated. And scrupulous agents, idiots agents will exploit that. Don't do that. Don't need to do that. But some will not sell. If the motivation is not there, it's not there, they're not going to sell. Some will rent it out. They change their mind. Some will list with somebody else. And this sucks because clearly something went off there. And I can tell you from experience, 99% of the time the issue there is trust. They don't trust your expertise. They don't trust you're their best choice. They simply don't trust you. They're thinking about listing. They're looking for a good agent. You screwed up somewhere. And usually, if you look back at each point of the communication with them, can troubleshoot where it got derailed, where it fell apart, where you lost the rapport and connection with them. And you know something interesting? It's usually at the beginning. Somewhere at the beginning, they labeled you either too low status, too needy, too nice, too pleasant, too kind, which is no bueno, or too aggressive. Now, you may not be those things, but that's how you're perceived. So work on the communication, your mindset, your overall demeanor, and how you approach these prospects. Easily fixable, by the way. Now, so some will sell on their own, some will never sell, some will rent out, some will list, and some will list with you, which is where you want to be. So this is what's going to happen. You will never get them all. I have some rock stars who are, you guys are absolute amazing rock stars when it comes to communication, prospecting, and I'm looking at many of you. I'm not going to name any names, but you guys know who you are. Even you don't get 100% of them. It's okay. You're not screwing it up. The more the better, of course, but even if it's not 100, it's fine. What you want to worry about is this who lists with somebody else. Try to troubleshoot that and get a big chunk of these if you can. So now, with that said, if the market is really hot and the buyers are buying for sell-by owners, you simply have to do several things. Let me give you a few tips to help you out. Other than the mindset and the understanding, some will sell on their own no matter what. Understand that if, and again, these are my numbers. Your numbers will be very different. I by no means can guarantee or promise you will get any results. But my approach would be this. Let's say I have 12 for sell-by owners in my area that I pull off from like Espresso Agent or Craigslist or Zillow or any of these sources. You have a bunch of resources in the Borino system that I have. There are about 15 of them that you can use to pull them. But if I have 12 of them, and let's say I get an appointment with 10 of them, those will be my numbers. 12, I reach out, 10 will say, yeah, come on down, take a look. You know, that simple approach I use, hey, can I take a quick look? Just a 5-minute tour so I can let my buyers know about it. So about 10 will say yes. Out of those 10, I would put 5 on my follow-up. So 5 of those I'll put on the follow-up. Out of those 5, I would expect minimum 2 listings in a period of about 60 days. Those will be my numbers. So knowing it, I know I'm not going to get them all. Some will sell on their own. Some I will never connect with, or some are not motivated. So out of those 12, 5 will go on a follow-up. 2 I should convert into listings. Now, if the market is really hot, there are several things you need to do. First, you got to increase, if I can even spell it, frequency of your follow-up. So if you follow up with them once every 30 days, no bueno. Because after about 2 weeks or so, Many of these leads, especially for sell by owners, especially those who are like a good listing, desirable neighborhood, completely forget who you are. They're just being bombarded by so many people, and a few agents probably do this pretty well. So frequency alone is important. My suggestion would be they need to hear from you every 7 days. So that's number one. They need to have your face, your name, and or your voice, or one form or another, in front of them every week, weekly. So up your frequency. Important, because it's the frequency alone that creates familiarity. It is the familiarity that builds comfort. And it is the comfort that develops trust. So you need to know the frequency. You need to have a good frequency. That's one. Two, quality of your follow-up. You know, most agents' follow-up is, hey, you ready to list? Idiotic. Of course, that puts people off. That turns for sell by owners off. So instead of bragging about how good you are and how important it is to list with you and why they're stupid that they're selling on their own, don't do any of that. Nobody wants to be told they're stupid. From the seller's perspective, saving $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 makes perfect sense. And some of them will pull it off. Not everybody, and statistically, we know that they will most likely end up listing and getting more money by listing with you. But they don't know it yet. And just plainly telling it to them will just create resistance because they will consider it selling. So, you improve your quality. What can you do that the seller wants to hear? That the seller wants to receive? Think about it. Helpful tips. How to find more buyers. How to design better ad. How to not promote their phone number and use service like, let's say, Google Voice. How to design a better ad on Zillow, on Craigslist. How to put together a flyer. How to do a better open house. There's a whole bunch of things you can give them. Now, right now you may be sitting there going, Jesus, this is genius. This is brilliant. Or you're sitting there going, what the fuck, Borino? Why in the world would I help them sell? Remember what I said at the beginning. If you go in with a genuine desire to help, you will get rewarded. Whether you tell them how to do an open house or not, doesn't matter. Whether they're going to sell the house through that open house or not, doesn't matter. You may be feeling like, well, shit, they sold the house and I told them how to do an open house. I'm an idiot. I promise you one thing. Your goodwill sent out will get rewarded, whether directly from that seller who will now feel obligated and will say, well, you know what, we sold on our own, but my cousin needs to buy a house. Why don't you contact this agent? He was really cool and helpful. Or it's going to come from something completely different. Don't worry about it. Stay in the mindset of abundance. Because if you come in with a genuine desire to be helpful, to be the resource, there will be some for sale by owners who sell on their own, but some end up listing with you. Think about it this way. Let's say they give it 60 days and you feed them this helpful information. I'll give you a little insight. Most of the FSBOs will not do diddly. They will not do squat. They will not do any of the stuff you suggest. Very few will actually take the time and put the effort in to get the property sold on their own. But what will change is the perception of you. Because suddenly, from the mass of faceless agents who are simply begging and pushing for a listing, you will stand out as somebody who has their best interest at heart, who wants the best for them before they worry about the commission, before they worry about the money. Does that make all sense? So you genuinely help. The quality of the information. Now, you don't need to overload them and bring a big book of real estate. It's going to be a little tip here, a little tip there. The Borino system, which is part of the path, by the way, has about 18 or 20 different things you offer over a period of about 20 weeks, or you can stretch it out just a little bit. In between, there'll be phone calls, there may be a visit or two, there'll be some market updates, letting them know what new listings are in the neighborhood, what's selling. That's the whole secret. 3, your communication. It must be right in the middle. Up here are aggressive salespeople. You know, the good old-fashioned, typical selling that some people still try to pull off. Down here are needy people. You know, like me, please. Oh, you have puppies, your house is so cute, I love it, love it. Don't be that. Neither one will get you the listing. It will actually kill your chance. You want to be right here in the middle. High status agent, HSA. High status agent. Confident, assertive, market expert, knowing what you're talking about, but also pleasant, easy to talk to, having a good time, enjoying the connection, enjoying the conversation. So you're right there in the middle. So increasing your follow-up, increasing quality, quality of your follow-up communication, and then increasing numbers, more numbers in general. So in case, let's say this is your market, and let's say you say out of 12 FSBOs, 10 actually sell. That's possible. In some markets, especially like in Canada, it's possible. Or they end up listing with a discount broker. So what do you have to do? Increase the numbers. Instead of 12, get more. Go to 24. Go after as many as it takes to reach your goal, whatever your goal is. If your goal is to do 50 listings in 50 weeks, which I encourage you to do if you do the path with me, bump up the numbers. Go a little further. Do what it takes, not what's convenient, not what's barely minimum. Do what it takes. Do what's essential, what's necessary to reach your goals. You do these things, increase the follow-up, increase your quality, better communication, bump up the numbers, you will convert more sellers, more FSBOs. Good? Helpful? What do you say, Anthony? All right. And Anthony says, thank you very much for putting so much detail out here to help us. My pleasure. Hello, everyone. Mr. Aaron. Ben says, write a book and drop that off with them. Watch your conversion rate jump. Ben, I actually very much disagree with that. I am actually very much against that. And I know many agents who bought the system from one of the people who sells that stuff. Absolutely bad idea. Let me tell you why. You give them a book of ideas how to sell a house. The FSBO will flip through it. They'll be entertained by it. They'll put it aside and go to the kitchen and have a sandwich. It's too much information, too much at one time. It'd be like me telling you how to sell real estate in one afternoon. You would get overloaded, and after about an hour, you're going to, you know what, fuck, this is just too much. I can handle it. Number one. Number two, it shifts the focus. See, my approach, what I'm teaching you here, you remain the target. You remain the focus. You remain the source. You become the go-to person, the answer. As opposed to the book that now becomes the answer where they don't need you anymore. You give them everything they needed. You follow the difference? So I absolutely don't believe that having expired packages, having expired books, having FSBO packages, having FSBO, let me rephrase that. Expired package, yes. Having FSBO books or packages or big chunks of information will actually do you a disservice. So absolutely not. And please don't solicit any of that shit around here because it's my group, my rules. All right? So do these 4 things. You will be a rock star. You will get up and running with FSBOs quickly. Then it's just a matter of getting good at it. Because what you're going to learn is that these things help. But at the end, the seller picks an agent who they like, trust, and respect the most. It's really that simple. If they like you, if they trust you, if they respect you, if they feel you're their best choice because you have their best interest at heart, you're going to win. They're going to like you. They're going to go with you. Why not? Why not? If they see you as the expert, if they see you as knowledgeable about the market, about the process, and if they understand that after about 60 days, hey, it's not happening, the home is not selling, we got to move, of course you're going to be their logical choice. It's really that simple, okay? All right. So no books. Cool. So what we got here? Aaron says, hello. Hey, Roger. Nice to have you. Welcome to the show. All right. Monique has a question. Let me show you. Question. I'm in the Denver market, which is on the charts hot. Many people are trying to go FSBO and, of course, getting their house sold. My advice to FSBOs is that it's not about getting the house under contract, but managing the stuff that happens from contract to close is really what we get paid these days. Also, as a buyer's agent, I take on the liability and I'm covered by a very good insurance policy. Any other ideas? First of all, telling the FSBOs why they should list with you will do you a disservice at that stage. Yes, there is a time and place for it, but let me show you the process. As a matter of fact, let me wipe this out. And I'll walk you through it. Bear with me just a second. All right. So you're going to go through 3 stages with a for sale by owner. It's kind of cool how we turned this into a little mini FSBO course, yeah? You guys are cool with that? So these are the 3 stages. Stage 1 is the initial contact. I see. vital. Vital. This is the time where you fire off an email or make a phone call or knock on the door or come to their open house to make the initial contact. It is within about 4 seconds here. Can you guys see that? Yeah. 4 seconds here where the first impression about you are formed. 4 seconds. No joke. Super quick. Those 3 categories. Either too aggressive, salesy, too needy, or right in the middle. Very quickly, I mean, you do that, it's the same. You meet a stranger for the first, remember when you were dating? Many of you are probably married like me, but when you were dating, how quickly did you decide whether you liked somebody or not? It's purely emotional. There is no logic involved. It's all emotions. It's all very subconscious. There's not like a logical process or anything. But the emotions and the feelings that we have towards each other are very clear. They're very strong, and they impact not just our behavior, but how we filter the interaction with that person afterwards. You remember that? You met a cool guy in the bar, or if you ladies will probably could feel this more than us guys, because you know we're macho and we're tough. But let's say you're having drinks with your friends and a guy approaches. How quickly do you think like, hey, this is a cool dude, or this is a sleazy scumbag who just wants to get laid? It happens very quickly. We do it all the time. And FSBOs especially do it very quickly, and their sense is even heightened because there is so much of that they have to put up with. So many agents they have to put up with. So the filter is up, the radar is up, and the defenses are up. So how you approach it right here at the beginning will determine how it's going to end up in the end. That's why I'm so adamant about you practicing and working on that first connection, first few seconds of the conversation on the phone and in person with the for sale by owner. So that's step 1. Then this is the first part of the relationship. This is where you make it all about the seller. It is all about the seller. So you telling them how much you're going to do for them, and why after the property is being sold and it's in the process of getting closed is so important. All that is just a noise. All that is just perceived as selling. Are you with me so far? So here, it is all about helping the seller, hearing the seller. The best thing you can do here, I'm going to put that in red because it's so important. In terms of your communication strategy, and this is part of core influence, which is what, month 2 of the path? You're going to ask a lot of questions. Because the seller has one topic and one topic only that is the most important, most favorite, most precious topic they want to talk about. Can you guess what it is? Themselves. Their house, their situation, their plans. They don't give a shit about you. They don't care about anything else. They care about them. They care about their plans and their possibilities and their property and how it's unique and all that stuff. So in order for you to build a genuine now, you cannot fake this, of course. You cannot just pretend to be interested. You need to be interested. You need to like people. You want to help people. Otherwise, none of that will work. You're going to be out of business very quickly. This is not a business for fakery. And if you're an introvert who likes to sit home and not talk to people, you're going to have a really hard time. Ask a lot of questions. Be interested. What is it that they're trying to do? What is the move representing to them? What problem are they going to solve? How are they going to feel when they're going to live somewhere else? What's driving them to get there? All these are phenomenal questions. I call them core questions, probing questions, initiation questions, connection questions. There are all these questions. I mean, core influence is about 80 of them. So you pick the best ones and you incorporate them in your conversation. You're going to do about 20% of the talking. The seller will do about 80% of the talking. That's how you do it. That's part 1. Part 2, then you reach a point where the seller comes to a junction. And the junction is either stay and not sell or move. And you know what will determine which way they're going to go? Can you guess? Motivation. Their core driving emotion. What is it that they're really driving? It is not about a bigger house or a smaller house or a 3-car garage or any of that. It is what it represents, how it makes them feel. And it's either the pain driving them out of the house or the pleasure pulling them somewhere else. Being near their granddaughter in Florida, or living in the mountains of Colorado, or having the dream job in California, or whatever else the construct they have. If we do this, then this will happen, and this is what's going to make us feel good. The intensity of the emotion, the intensity of the core driving emotion will determine whether they say, well, you know what, fuck it, it's not worth it, we're staying here. Or plan B. You know what the plan B is? List. list. Then they start thinking, who is our best choice? Who is the person who is most helpful? Who will make the best choice, where we get the most value for the money we have to spend on the commission, which is how your commission is determined. It is not based on your competition, not based on a marketplace or any of that. It is based on their perception of the value of the contribution you will deliver when you sell the property. This is when you start introducing why you are their best choice. But it is not about long lists and you've been in the business for 20 years and any of that. It is about how you will stay with them, have their best interest at heart, and deliver the end result. Because they don't care whether you're going to put 20 hours a day into the work or 4 hours a day. You don't get paid for the effort. You don't get paid for the time. You get paid for the result, which is right here, which is to sell the property. Which is why you should not spend a whole lot of time explaining the little mundane details how we're going to get there. Spend more time talking about what will happen once you get there. Yes, some sellers are interested about your marketing, about your advertising, but you know why? It is not because they understand or know whether Facebook ads going to sell the property or open house will sell the property. They really don't know. Remember, they're civilians. What they're really looking for, and the reason they're asking all these questions is not just because they saw it on Realtor.com as one of the guides that they download as a PDF of the 10 questions that every seller should ask an agent. It is because they want to be assured you're their best choice, that you're competent, that they are in good hands, and you will actually honor the promises you made and deliver the result why they hired you in the first place. They didn't hire you for the number of hours you're going to put in, how big your staff is, how many years you've been in a business, or how many homes you've sold. Those are not direct indicators of what you're going to do for them. They hired you for only the end result. You guarantee the end result, you got a client. That's really the bottom line. That's the process. Now notice there is not a whole lot about how you impress the seller, how you tell them about what's the difference between going for sale by owner versus listing. That comes here. That will be part of your listing presentation, which is the only time you're going to talk about two things. The only time, hear me on this, commission and price. You will never discuss the actual property price, which you suggest should be a list price and a sales price, and what the actual commission would be and or the net sheet until you sit down with the seller here. That's reserved for your paid clients. And same goes, of course, for contracts and legal advice. But the rest, fair game. Does that all make sense, my friends? Are you learning some good stuff? Is this helpful? Many of you say yes. Hey, Todd from Utah. Lovely Utah. We want to ride motorcycle there through the... There are some beautiful places to ride. Hello, Michael from Vancouver, BC. Maka, thank you. Thanks very much. So I hope that was helpful. What do you think about using BombBomb and personalize each of the videos in every contact with the lead? Sean would like to know. I like videos. I think BombBomb is not a bad service if you have a budget for it. But a lot of the stuff you can do yourself. Let me give an example. You can grab your phone. Let's say you have a good lead. And let's say it's a for sale by owner. Let's say you want to let them know that there is a new sale in the area. You simply fire off your smartphone, turn on the video, and it says, hey, John, it's Borino with ABC Real Estate again. Just wanted to let you know there's a new sale around the corner on 1234 Oak Street. That property just went under contract. Please call me back or text me. I'll get you more information. Thanks. Bye. Boom. Send it as a text. Done. So you can do a lot of this yourself. You can post it on YouTube and send them a link. There's a whole bunch of ways to do that because BombBomb will set you about $1,200 a year. So it's not a cheap service. If you have the money and if you're going to be using it, fantastic. I'm a huge fan of video. I've told you this 7 million times in the past. Video is going to be the marketing force. It's going to be the communication force of the future. We're already using it. I mean, I'm FaceTiming with my mom almost every 2-3 days. I've been FaceTiming with my family when I'm on the road. Use video. You should absolutely use video, even if it just means use your smartphone. Get my course or come on DoPath. I will teach you how to do that. All that is available. There's one downside with video. And let me give you the warning because you need to hear this. If you don't have a chance to communicate with a prospect face-to-face, which is still the most powerful, most engaging, most effective way to build trust and connection, video is the second. But here's the downside, here's the warning. If you fuck it up, if your video is too cheesy, too salesy, too boring, too long, too wordy, too pushy, too needy, you're going to ruin that relationship. Just like you would ruin it in person if you had a bad breath or unzipped your fly or whatever else you said the wrong thing. So you must practice and know how to do it. That's the bad news. The good news is you can. This guy from Czechoslovakia learned how to do it. You can too. It's not that hard. It just takes a little bit of practice, some tips and some resources. Get my help if you want to. Come, I'll teach you, or just do it on your own. But yes, use video. Video should absolutely be part of your initial contact if necessary, your follow-up. You should be the neighborhood expert posting videos and updates that people go to just check it out of curiosity or because they're thinking about selling. That is my take on video, and video will be bigger and bigger. Facebook is pushing more video than anything. YouTube is pushing videos like crazy. You will see live broadcasts on Facebook. You will see programs specifically designed for Facebook audiences. When Facebook and YouTube, two giants, decide that video is the way to go, trust me, the video is the way to go. It should absolutely be part of it. Many of you are already doing it, which is awesome. Shiri says, you are the best. I hope this will be on the replay. Got to meet my trainer now. Nice to have you. Latricia says, yes. Pretty much everything I say. Hey, Mr. Jason Fazio, real estate rockstar. How are you, bud? I have a relocation listing tomorrow afternoon, but I have to compete with a top agent. It's a massive $600,000 listing with extreme luxury in our market. They've already met with the first agent. Any last words of encouragement as I go up against a mega agent? Few things I can give you, Jason. Whenever you go against, there's always competition. You will always have competition. You will always have other agents trying to get for a listing, even if it's your Aunt Edna who's trying to sell. There is always somebody else. So don't worry about it too much. A couple of things that will help you. First, the right mindset. If you come from the place we've talked about, contribution, being helpful, understanding the seller, making it all about the seller, not about you, making it about connection and relationship rather than demonstrating your expertise, or worse, comparing yourself to everybody else, you got this. That's number one. Number two, be absolutely zero attached to the outcome. Now, I know this is a lot easier for me to say than done, because if you calculate in your head, well, Borino, easy for you to say, but that's 15 grand commission. I get it. But if you're able to put yourself in what I call the Zen state, and I would literally do this. I would do this before each listing appointment. I would spend about 10 minutes to get centered, to just clear my head from all the monkey noise and all the chitty chat and all the doubts and fears that we all have. Just kind of stay in the moment and be centered and ask for guidance to connect. And you can call God and higher power, universe, whatever resonates with you, to kind of be on your side and be your guide how to do that, how to serve that client better. Because I can tell you, again, from a personal experience, sometimes letting go and not getting a client or a listing is the best service you can give them. If you live in the mindset of abundance, you understand that there is so much. There is so much. Way more than you can possibly handle. We're printing money every fucking day, for crying out loud. There's plenty. So whether you get one listing, whether you help one client, whether you make one commission, should be not that big of a deal. With that said, you also want to deliver the best listing presentation you can possibly deliver. A lot of the stuff already happened before you met with the seller, which, Jason, I know you're my student, so you probably took the steps of the pre-listing presentation plus, where they're pre-sold and pre-prepped for you. Why is that important? You're already in the running. They already want to meet with you. If they had no desire or no curiosity about who their best choice is, you wouldn't be there. They wouldn't meet with you. So you're on the right track. So, putting yourself in the right state, not being attached to the outcome at all, hoping and wishing and desiring just the best outcome for everybody concerned. With that, ask questions. Be genuinely interested. Your understanding of their situation. What is it that their needs are? What is the problem? What is it that they really want? What are the emotions? And here's a big one. What are their fears? What are they worried about? What concerns them the most? To understand all that will accomplish several things. First, it will get you clarity. Who are these people? What are they trying to do? How motivated they are? What is the problem that they're trying to solve? What is their core driving emotion? All that vital pieces of information. They'd be like a doctor who needs to diagnose before they can say, oh, well, we got to do surgery, or we got to do this, we got to do that. You are at that level of expertise. The importance of moving is at the same level. It is a big fucking deal. That's why no Zillow and no Realtor.com and no other website or system can take over the expertise and the contribution that you have in a transaction. Are you with me? You understand what I'm talking about? So you being there as the high status advisor not only will shift the dynamic between who will the seller pick to, are we a good fit? Are we a good match to work together? And this is one of the things I would tell the sellers. Let's sit down, let's figure out if we like each other, if we click, if we want to work together. Sometimes we don't click, you know how it is. People are people. So you will decide just as they have the freedom to decide whether they want to work with you or not. And if you trust your abilities, and you have them, Jason, you sold a bunch of properties, you're a good agent. You have the tools and resources. You kick ass when it comes to marketing properties. So you trust yourself that you can deliver the results without you having to sell it to the seller. And turning the presentation into a dialogue, into a conversation, into exploration will get you the result that you want. Now, maybe you get the listing, maybe you won't. Maybe you will do your best and still not get it. That's a possibility. But you being able to say, I did my best, and I'll do better next time, because now I know better. And I know that there's plenty more leads, plenty more clients, plenty more money. You will do just fine. Without the scarcity, without the fear, without the restrictions, without the limited mindset of scarcity. Being free to say there's plenty. And if we click, it's going to be fine. And if we don't, it's going to be all right either way. Because life is good and business is awesome and I love what I do and I enjoy this business and meeting people and helping people and exploring what they're trying to do and be part of their dreams and hopes and their life, and maybe I get paid for it and sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, but it's all good and I'm living a good lifestyle. Helpful? Looks like it was helpful. Shante says, good afternoon. Realtor Media meeting here in DC. Latricia says, yes. All right. Good. So I hope that was helpful, my good people. All right. I know you got it, Jason. You can do this. Saman has a nice comment. Let me show you. Here it is. Hello. I really like how you teach us from Ontario, Canada. Good. I'm glad to hear that. We talked about Bomb. Mark has a question. Borino, what about working with a big name brokerage versus small company? I pay big split to my big company. Great question, Maka. Here is my suggestion. Don't ever make it just about the money. Yes, the commission is important. Of course, you need to pay your bills and you need to feed your family and provide. I understand that. But don't make it about the money. Don't make it about the company itself. Here is my suggestion when it comes to picking the right company. Whether you're a brand new agent or you're a seasoned veteran, is go with the company that feels right and is a good match to your philosophy, to your personality, to your style of business. Here would be my criteria. I would pick a company. Let's say I start all over again in an area where I've never sold real estate and I move and I need to pick a company. I would look for a company who does well. I don't want a brokerage that struggles, because once they start struggling, there's a good chance they start cutting corners and do shit that may be shady at best and criminal at worst. And you know what I'm talking about. You've heard stories like that. You've read stories like that before. So I want a company who does well. How do you know? First of all, if they do listings, if you see sales, if they have agents who are productive, thumbs up. That's number one. Number two, I would interview the broker and the owner and the managers to see if we're a good match. See, when I started in real estate, I started with a company that was pretty conservative. And as you know, some of my marketing tips and some of my strategies are pretty out there. Not necessarily illegal. I would never do anything that's illegal or unethical, but let's just say they were a little unusual and, not necessarily conservative. Which, of course, was a problem for the broker, so I decided to leave. So make sure you're a good match. If you're using marketing and strategies and things your way, you want a broker who would support you. So like some of you guys have trouble convincing your broker the 90-day guarantee to be part of it. That's a hindrance. There's nothing illegal or unethical or misleading about it. Thousands of agents are using it all the time. Why shouldn't you? So have a broker who will support you. Have a company that has a good spirit, good energy, that comes from abundance as well, that will support your business, that will encourage you to do well. Whether it's a big name company or a small brokerage makes no difference whatsoever. I mean, do an interview, do a test. I've done it. Go out and talk to civilians and ask them, what is the difference between Coldwell Banker and Century 21? Could you explain that to me? What is the difference between Keller Williams and RE/MAX or ABC and XYZ? People don't know. You know why? Because, Maka, you're a great agent. At the end, all your clients list with you because they like you. They trust you personally. They think you're their ally, not the company you work for. That means nothing to them. And the reason I know that is I worked for a company, and it was a Century 21 company, who, unbeknownst to us, without announcement or anything, one day the broker owner decided to change it to ERA. Overnight, literally overnight. It was something that they set up, but they didn't want to tell us because they were afraid a bunch of people would leave, which is exactly what happened, by the way. One morning, we come in, no more Century 21, ERA. All my signs, Century 21 signs, Borino, gone, ERA. Here's an interesting thing. Out of all the sellers I had, you know how many complained or even questioned that? You want to know? 0. You know why? Because they were not listed with Century 21. They were not listed with ERA. And they're fine companies, nothing against them. They were listed with me. I was their guy. I was their choice. So don't get confused thinking big name will get you business versus small name will not get you, or vice versa. No. Go with the culture, go with the spirit of the company, talk to some of the agents, make sure those are good, productive, high-caliber agents, not some shady characters. Make sure the staff and the management team and the ownership team will support you, will guide you. You're not going to get a whole lot of training, and here is why. That's why you need guys like me, like Borino, crazy dude, to come and teach you. Is because, from a broker's perspective, average agent is a poor investment. What are you talking about, Borino? Here's what it means. And those of you guys who are broker owners will nod your head right now because you know what I'm talking about. Either an agent will not perform, which is 80% of the time. Out of 10 agents they recruit, 8 will not perform and not make hardly any money, if close to 0. Very little. 20% will make money, but out of 20%, majority will leave. So they're now in the dilemma. Should they invest money and time and effort in training the agent if they know 8 out of 10 will suck and fail, or focus on that small group out of which a big chunk will leave them? See what I mean? So from a business perspective, a broker owner cannot invest a lot of time and money to train agents who will either leave or fail. But you guys come to me then for help, and that's what I do. That's why we do the path. Now, I've talked about the path. If you're thinking about doing it, if you're curious about it, go to goborino.com, go check it out. It's an ongoing program where you get all my systems, you get all my books, you get everything, my help. We have live coaching, we have Q&A sessions, all that good stuff. So rather than making it about the split and making it about the money and making it about all that, make it about what it feels like to work for this company. Now, the good news is, if it doesn't work for you, you can always change. It's not the easiest thing and it's not the cheapest thing, but it's a possibility. You're not locked in. Does that make sense? So that's what I would recommend. All right. Boy, this was a good session today. I like talking with you guys. I enjoy it. Anthony says, great information. Thank you. My pleasure. All right, guys. All right. Have we had enough for one day? We do this every week. We do this on Tuesdays at noon. Pacific time, noon Eastern time, right here on Rockstars. We talk, I answer your questions. We chat about my new programs, what's coming up. What's coming up is the War Room. The War Room is the only live event I'm organizing this year, where I will take 10 of you, and you and I will work together. In person, you're going to fly down here to Washington, D.C., and we're going to spend 10 full days. We're going to roll up our sleeves. We're going to analyze your business piece by piece. We're going to take it all apart, and we're going to put it together. We're going to have breakfast together. We're going to have lunch together. We're going to have dinner the first night together. We're going to hang out. We're going to have fun. But more importantly, it's going to be a very intense time for us to spend these 2 days to see where you are and then map out and put together one piece, which I call the big domino, in place to help you make sure the rest of the year is awesome for you. And you're not going to have 6 months to implement it. I'm going to give you 30 days because after 30 days, we're going to have a follow-up session. It's going to be a video conference session where I'm going to check up on you. And I say, all right, Todd, you said you're going to do X, Y, and Z. How are you doing on it? And God forbid you didn't get it done. So that's what's coming. The invitation will go out. Look for it. I'm going to post it right here on Rockstars as well. It's called the War Room. 2 full days with me personally. Only 10 students will be accepted, and we have, I think, 4 spots already booked. So it's going to sell out pretty quickly. It's going to be in September. I'd love for you to apply for it. You and I will get on the phone for about 15 minutes, and we'll chat. I have some questions for you. I'm sure you're going to have questions for me about the training. See if you're a good fit. See if that would be something that would benefit you in your business. And with that, my friends, I very much appreciate you being here today. I have such a good time teaching this stuff. I'm looking forward to it. For those of you who are my Path students, or if you're thinking about coming on board, do it right now, because tomorrow we have another session. It's another live Q&A session. Starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and I can't wait to talk to you, my Path students. For the rest of you, wish you a fantastic rest of the week. Go get them. There's plenty of people out there who need your help, who are looking for a good agent. You can find them. You can connect with them. You can help them. Yes, it's all possible. It's all within your reach. And with that, Coach Borino, Biker Borino, the badass Biker Borino, signing off. I appreciate you being here today. I'll talk to you all next week. Have a fantastic day. I'll talk to you soon. Coach Borino signing off. Let's go get him. Bye, everybody. Thank you.